deal with the responsibility of it. And the quote that everybody always says, with great power comes great responsibility, from Spider-Man, one of my favorite superheroes. That is a great quote. But I think a lot of people don't understand that that applies to every single person, not just people who are strong or powerful or have these superhuman abilities. They're smarter, they're richer, they're older, they're younger. It doesn't matter. People look at others as, that person has what I want, or I have what that person wants. And I try to stay in between that. If you're always going to meet somebody that has less than you, and you're going to meet someone every day that has more than you. And if that is not the case, then I think experiencing being around people who has far less than you and far more than you simultaneously is a very good thing, because it keeps you humble, it keeps you grounded, and it shows you immediately through those mediums, with you being right in the middle of it, what your true responsibility in life is. It teaches you about yourself. Do you desire to be more powerful, quote unquote, because you have more money, you're the boss? Or are you the type of person that is perfectly fine with being the person who is what other people refer to as helpers? I call them helpers. And those are people with normal jobs, everyday jobs, a police officer, a cook, a custodian. Doesn't matter. Everybody's job matters just as much as everybody's life matters. Your job doesn't define you. And that is something that really bugs the shit out of me every day, is when you see people walking around with their noses stuck up in the air, looking down on other people because they are being served. Who should ever look down on a fireman? Who should look down on someone who is a janitor who cleans up after yourself? It's one of those things where I feel like people have lost touch with responsibility. What you're not seeing out of those people is, what are they doing when you're not around? When you're not judging them about what they do for a living, when you're not judging them about what car they drive, what neighborhood they live in. You don't know the extraordinary complexities of that person's life. You may be going home to an apartment or a condo, and you got the nicest car in the garage down there, and you're just living it up, but you're alone. This person may be going home to a family that loves them, supports them. If anything happens to that person, they're going to love that person no matter what. And this isn't a battle against people who have, against people who don't have, against people who don't want or don't need versus the people who do want and do need. It has nothing to do with that. What it has is each individual's right to have a positive outlook on their position in life. If someone's content with being who they are, more power to them. They have every right to be, and those people are usually the happy ones, despite what they're doing or where they fit on the social hierarchy of society, especially here in the United States, where if you don't have money and looks and the perfect job, the perfect car, the white picket fence, the perfect $50,000 to $100,000 career right out of college, you can't even pay back your loans. If you don't have that life, people look at you like, what went wrong in your life, buddy? You made some wrong decisions. I mean, you get judged and stereotyped pretty easily in society. It's not just the United States, but this is where I live, so this is where I'm speaking on. There is a huge responsibility, I think, that comes with power in showing others strength without all of the bullshit that they see that defines you. When you're stripped down to your bare essence, are you strong enough as a person? Have you been through enough as a person? Have you seen and gone through enough struggle in life to look down or talk down to anyone else? And a lot of cases I see that where that is not the case. How are you going to build yourself up as somebody who you feel like the weight is on your shoulders? You have this company, all your employees, they count on you. You have this huge weight, but you're not strong enough inside to really carry that weight. When you're not doing the things outside of what those people see. When you go home, you're not the person they believe you really are. You're one way at work, and when you go home, you're completely different. That is something that each individual has to see for themselves. But internally is where I'd like to look at where people are. That's how I measure the power. How strong are you? What have you been through? And that goes back to listening and learning about people. You can't walk up to somebody and judge them on their job or their car or their house. You just can't do it. You don't know what those people are going through. And some of them may not be going through anything. That doesn't mean that their story is any less worthy of being told or being heard. That doesn't mean that that person is not as well off as you in life. Being well off has a lot more to do than money and class and power. To me, power comes from sharing your experiences, especially the bad ones. That's power. I see power in people who have struggled, who have been through things willingly, not because they were asked to do it, but because they wanted to do it. I find strength in that. When people work jobs that they don't have to work, and it sucks, but they do it because they want to. When people have fucked up families and they support those family members no matter what, and they have to go through it with them, that's one thing. It's another thing to let that family drag you down and you say, look, you're my family, but I am choosing to be on my own. Because I feel like even though you're my family, I need to do this on my own. I need to work this job on my own. I need to stick with these group of friends because they have helped me. It goes across the board, full circle. Power comes from within. And how are you going to be strong enough to carry other people if you're not strong enough within your own self to do so? I've learned to appreciate the value in every person based on each individual life, each individual experience that person has had in their life, all the failures I've had, the successes, losing things, gaining things. There are so many things to learn from each person you meet, despite what you think they are, and the stereotypes that society puts on these people, whether it's good or bad. It's up to you to take from each person what you want. And if you can learn to do that with each person you meet, see the true value in each person, you'll start to realize that your life will mean so much more to yourself because you'll be able to see much more of yourself in other people. And that's something I think about every day.